不是危言耸听啊，大家可以看一下，这就是我们最真实的情况。
It's not an exaggeration. Just take a look. This is our reality. They needed 20 workers today, but over 200, nearly 300 people showed up, and some haven't arrived yet. Right now, the job market in Hangzhou and even across Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai is like this. Too many people looking for work, but not enough positions. Everyone is stuck here. A Douyin user in Hangzhou recently filmed a video showing massive crowds gathering outside the Panasonic factory in Shasha, Hangzhou, waiting for a job interview.
这个厂号称下沙的死亡流水线啊，以前狗都不干的。
This factory is known as a death assembly line of Hangzhou Shasha. Before, even stray dogs wouldn't take this job. Now people are fighting to get in. But showing up doesn't guarantee an interview. Ask yourself, what advantage do you have? Factories are being selective now. Out of 300 applicants, they only take 20. That's not even a 10% chance. This year, many workers returned to cities to look for jobs even before the Chinese New Year holiday ended, only to face an unexpected harsh reality. Normally, the period right after the holiday is when factories need the most labor. However, this year in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai, the situation has taken a dramatic turn. Workers are stranded. Factories are overwhelmed with job seekers, yet many workers are unable to secure employment.
看一看，几十个人的行李在我们这儿堆着的。
Look around. There are piles of luggage everywhere. People can't find work and are stuck here with all their belongings. Do you still dare to come to Suzhou or anywhere in Jiangsu, Zhejiang, or Shanghai? Many workers are struggling to find jobs because the better factories are already full. Hiring has frozen and requirements are stricter than ever. Today, we visited a factory that requires microscope work. They only accept one male worker for every 3 females. If the ratio isn't met, they won't even let you apply. This is a reality now. Do you still think jobs are easy to find here? The vlogger also pointed out that competition is fierce for all types of jobs, whether full-time, hourly, temporary, or daily wage positions. In one recent case, a factory recruitment event attracted over 400 applicants, but only around 100 were hired. Even for highly strenuous jobs, such as microscope-based assembly work, more than 170 people applied, yet only 30 were selected. On February 26, another video surfaced showing crowds outside a human resources company, all desperately searching for work. People are stranded now, brothers. If you didn't get into a factory a few days ago, there's nowhere to go now. There are too many people, and they just can't fit everyone in. With intense competition, factory hiring in China has become a talent show-style selection process. A Chinese TikToker described the job market as oversaturated, with hundreds competing for just a few decent positions, making interviews feel like auditions.
别出来了，都不要出来了啊，兄弟们！
Don't come out looking for work anymore, brothers. It's pointless. The good jobs are gone, and the decent factories aren't hiring. If you come out now, you'll either be stuck jobless or forced into a terrible position that you'll quit in days. Take today's shipping container job, for example. My social media is flooded with people talking about it. Hundreds showed up, kicking their legs in a selection test. If you're not fast enough, you're out immediately. This is a level of competition now. It's like a talent show. Beyond the fierce competition, factories have also tightened their hiring criteria. Age, gender, and even physical appearance are now major factors in the selection process. Some vloggers report that major factories have stopped hiring altogether. Many workers remain stranded, as both assembly line and technical positions are no longer recruiting.
现在的话，就是各大厂区呢都已经是饱和状态了。
Right now, factories everywhere are completely full. If you're too old, they don't want you. If you're too young, they don't want you either. If you have tattoos, a full sleeve, or even a record of detention, you're out. The hiring standards are incredibly strict, and wages aren't looking great either. A vlogger shared his experience of attending a factory job interview where only 120 positions were available. However, when he arrived, He found himself among a crowd of 300 to 400 applicants. Describing the overwhelming competition, he said it felt like being a drop in the ocean. Factory workers are often referred to as screw turners, but now, even the chance to turn screws has become a battle. The pressure to secure a job is higher than ever.
都回家吧，别找厂了。现在是2月21号。
Just go home. Don't bother looking for a factory job anymore. It's February 21st, and most factories in Hangzhou have already stopped hiring. The few that are still recruiting have lines stretching out the door, crowds everywhere. This year, it all happened so fast. In previous years, hiring would last until mid-March, but now recruitment has shut down early. Is it because market demand has changed? Are factory profits down? Or is it simply that too many people are looking for work this year? What's really going on behind all this?
The issue of stranded workers isn't limited to Jiangsu, Zhejiang, and Shanghai. Migrant workers in Guangzhou and Zhengzhou are facing similar difficulties. On February 26, a Chinese TikToker reported that 450,000 workers were stranded in Guangzhou, raising concerns about how their families would feel seeing them struggle to find employment. In Zhengzhou, another Chinese TikToker revealed that hundreds of thousands of workers remain jobless, with even Foxconn Technology Group no longer hiring.
郑州已经滞留了几十万人了啊，有70万人现在都找不到工作。
Zhengzhou has hundreds of thousands of stranded workers. Right now, 700,000 people can't find jobs. That's the truth. Some say it's exaggerated and that factories are still hiring. Sure, but have you noticed? Even Foxconn is full. Other factories have little turnover. Once workers get in, they stay and new hires are rare. This is the real situation. Zhengzhou is no longer a good place to look for work. Meanwhile, an HR recruiter in Wuhan observed a new trend. Many of this year's applicants had never worked in a factory before.
我发现厂区门口找工作的人越来越多了。
I see more and more job seekers crowding factory gates. Even when only 10 or 20 positions are open, over 100 people show up. And this year, many applicants have never worked in a factory before. Construction workers, shopkeepers, small business owners. They say it's temporary, but in reality, they have no other choice. I can't shake the feeling that a major crisis is coming. Wuhan's factory simply can't absorb this many workers. If this continues, more and more people won't be able to afford food.
咱们打工人到底还可以去哪呀？杭州那边啊。
Where can we workers even go now? Hangzhou is full, Jiangsu is full, Shanghai factories are full, and Wuhan isn't looking good either. The 4 major coastline cities are all maxed out. So where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do?
刚刚从那边一个桥洞过来，很多人啊都是从家里带过来的。
I just passed under a bridge. Many people brought blankets from home and are sleeping there because they can't afford rent. Jobs are scarce and expenses pile up fast. Some came out with just a few thousand yuan and ended up with nothing. Now they have no choice but to sleep on the streets. Some scrape by on daily wage jobs, working one day at a time just to survive. Many are drowning in debt, car loans, mortgages, family expenses. How many more will end up defaulting? Why has the job market become so difficult this year? Some Chinese TikTokers suggest that fraudulent recruitment agencies, declining factory orders, and industrial shifts may all be contributing factors. One vlogger shared that one of the key reasons behind a growing number of stranded workers across China is the rise of black market labor brokers.
真的是不可思议，就是刚才呢看了一个数据啊。
This is unbelievable. I just saw some data showing that there are now 300,000 stranded workers in the Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Shanghai region. If you go there now, to train stations, parks, and even internet cafes, you will see people dragging their suitcases around, desperately looking for work. And who's to blame? The black market job agencies. They lure workers in with promises of high wages, trick them into traveling, then suddenly claim there are no job openings. Meanwhile, they charge them for travel, bedding, and all sorts of other fees, scamming them out of their money. In the end, they can't even arrange a job, leaving workers stranded with nowhere to go.
A social media user recently shared their struggles with job hunting. saying they've tried everything: waitressing, air conditioner factories, toothbrush factories, disposable underwear factories, electronics factories. Some jobs lasted 3 days, some just 1 day, and some only half an hour. The constant search has left them mentally exhausted. The good positions aren't hiring, so every day they go out from morning to night trying different jobs while having to pay 10 yuan a day just for meals. They won't go home until late at night, afraid that the family will find out they're unemployed and feel hopeless. A worker shared that even after landing a job, they arrived on the first day to find the factory shut down, fearing they might starve in Zhejiang. With few factory jobs available this year, many migrant workers are giving up and returning home within days. Since the pandemic ended, China's spring hiring season, once a year's peak recruitment period, has seen a steady decline in demand. The rush to hire assembly line workers, once common, is fading. Over the past decade, China's manufacturing sector provided over 27% of jobs for 300 million rural migrant workers. However, the sharp drop in factory hiring is now affecting tens of millions seeking work in the new year. In January, China's official Manufacturing Purchasing Managers Index fell to 49.1, the lowest in nearly 4 months, signaling weak hiring confidence. As economic conditions shift, many Chinese factories face declining orders, with some halting operations long-term or shutting down entirely. Do you see this? This huge factory used to have multiple production lines running, but this year, only a handful of workers are left. I don't know what Zhengzhou is going to do this year. The situation in Dongguan, Guangdong is no different.
朋友们，一个亲戚的工厂啊，倒闭了。
Friends, a relative's factory just shut down. Look at this massive factory. All this equipment just abandoned. This machine here, it's a hydraulic press. Brand new. The protective film hasn't even been peeled off. It's heartbreaking. What can they do now? Being a business owner comes with so much pressure. One factory in Dongguan has extended its holiday break until the end of August this year due to insufficient orders. A widely circulating video shows that Huaji Industrial Company in Dongguan initially planned to resume operations in March after the Chinese New Year. However, due to a lack of orders, a company notice announced that the shutdown will be extended until the end of August. During this period, the company will continue paying employees Social Security and providing living stipends. Notably, this isn't the first delay. In August 2023, Huaji Industrial extended its closure until February 2024. Then, in September 2024, it pushed the reopening to February 2025. Now, the latest notice confirms the long-term shutdown remains in effect. Further, investigations suggest the factory has been inactive since late 2022, meaning it has already been shut down for over 2 years. Whether it will resume operations in September 2025 remains uncertain. Public records show that Dongguan Huaji Industrial Company, founded in March 2014, is a Hong Kong-funded enterprise. One social media user remarked, "With no foreign trade orders and overcapacity, of course, jobs are disappearing. It's the workers who suffer." As factory jobs vanish, more people are turning to flexible employment. In 2021, China's Ministry of Human Resources and Social Security reported 200 million people in flexible employment, making up half of urban jobs. By the end of 2024, official data confirmed this number has surpassed 200 million. China's growing unemployment crisis is directly linked to its ongoing economic downturn and the mass closure of domestic factories. Additionally, U.S.-China tensions are worsening China's economic outlook. Even before Donald Trump took office, Chinese manufacturers had begun planning relocations to Southeast Asia. Shortly after this inauguration, Trump imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese goods, a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum, and other measures to address trade imbalances. As the trade war escalates again, analysts predict a new wave of corporate relocations, with companies moving production out of China to avoid U.S. tariffs. Foreign capital continues to leave China, According to data from China's Ministry of Commerce on February 19th, the actual use of foreign investment in January 2025 was 97.6 billion yuan, down 13.4% year over year. This also fell below January 2022's 102 billion yuan and January 2023's 127.6 billion yuan, making it the weakest start in 4 years. Meanwhile, Bloomberg, citing China's State Administration of Foreign Exchange, estimated that foreign direct investment saw a record net outflow of 1.2 trillion yuan in 2024, the highest in history. U.S. tech giant Apple is ramping up iPhone 16 production in India to reduce reliance on China, while its key supplier, Foxconn, is expanding assembly plants there. The Financial Times reported that Beijing has recently restricted Chinese technicians from traveling to India, seemingly to keep key manufacturing technology from leaving the country. China affairs expert Chen Po-kong argues that Xi Jinping's defiance of the U.S. stems from what the Chinese Communist Party calls its institutional advantage. He describes China's governance as opaque and unaccountable, with state-controlled media boasting about its policies while rejecting public oversight and criticism. Chen contrasts Trump and Xi's leadership, noting that as a democratically elected leader, Trump is accountable to voters, while Xi's priority is maintaining power. Economic decline, market contraction, factory closures, and mass unemployment are secondary concerns. Xi often declares that China will act at all costs, but Chinese internet users wryly observe that the Chinese people themselves are the cost. Senior researcher Qi Huangquan from Japan's Nomura Institute of Capital Markets Research identified 7 key factors driving foreign businesses out of China. 1. Intensifying U.S.-China tensions. 2. Slowing economic growth in China. 3. Rising production costs. 4. Beijing's increasingly strict security relations. 5. Growing competition from domestic Chinese companies. 6. Global supply chain restructuring. 7. A surge in anti-foreign sentiment within China. A recent survey by the American Chamber of Commerce in Shanghai found that over 50% of respondents were pessimistic about their business prospects in China over the next 5 years. Meanwhile, the European Chamber of Commerce has openly criticized China's increasingly politicized business environment, noting that thousands of corporate recommendations have been largely ignored by the government. U.S.-based economist David Jun Huang highlights a global shift in investment patterns, with capital flowing back to the U.S. due to rising interest rates and more favorable business conditions. Higher returns, stronger legal protections, and greater market stability are drawing investors home. While China's economy appears to be slowing, it is in fact declining. The stock market remains sluggish, the real estate sector is struggling, and private enterprises are losing vitality. At the same time, China's leadership downplays economic concerns while maintaining an aggressive diplomatic stance. Huang believes this downward trend in market confidence will be difficult to reverse. On February 19th, Chinese authorities unveiled the Foreign Investment Stabilization Action Plan, a 20-point initiative to boost foreign investment. It focuses on 4 key areas, including expanding market access and enhancing investment promotion efforts. The plan also introduces trial openings in sectors such as telecommunications, healthcare, and education. However, Dr. Frank Tian-Xie from the University of South Carolina, Aiken, remains skeptical. He argues that for years, the Chinese government has repeatedly pledged to stabilize financial markets and attract foreign investment, yet with little tangible impact. He points out that the new plan lacks meaningful innovation and largely recycles past policies, suggesting that previous promises were empty rhetoric. Given this track record, Xie believes that the latest initiative is unlikely to yield real results.